there's a range function in Python. I want to bring it up here because it's used quite a lot in a for loop. So what a range function does it returns a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default, and it increases 1. It increases by 1 and ends at a specified number that you've given. Okay, now here, before I go any further, I want to give you a very, very important thing, which basically many of the programs miss to give students. But I want to give it to you right away. And take a note of this, save it, store it somewhere, because this is going to completely change your Python journey. It will not be the same ever again. Just check what I have just put up on the chat window. These are some shortcuts which will really make everything really, really simple for you in Python. It will make your Python experience much, much simpler. Why I brought it up right now is to tell you about the shift tab. Shift tab is basically what gives you documentation of any function in Python. So the way I said, right, this range function I want to use. Now, even if you do not know what a function in Python does, or what any of the function in Python does, you could always just write that function, right? Write that function and press a shift tab. Now, the moment you press a shift tab, you'll be able to get an entire biography of what that function does, the whole detail about it. You can just read it through, and you'll be able to understand. Look at this, for example. Just only thing I will tell you is do not get overwhelmed by this. Whatever it is saying, just go to it one by one and just try to see. I guarantee you within first 1 week, your Python understanding will be at a different level, because you will know now that you don't need anyone to tell you what functions to use, because you can check out any function and figure out what that does. And that makes things at least 30–40% easier for you, isn't it? This is called a docstring. Have you guys used it before? Vagish, Sai? Guys? Vagish, have you used this? Docstrings? Okay, and so then I think pay special attention to this. First thing I would tell you is copy everything that I have put up here and save it somewhere. All these shortcuts that I've given you, it will make things very easy for you. Very, very easy for you. All right. Now, look at this. If I tell you that, okay, there's a range function, what you can do is, could you guys understand based on what this is saying? Could you guys understand what it does? Sai, Vagish, come on, quick. Could you understand reading this? Is there any part of this that you did not understand? So let me tell you, for any function, and why I'm telling you this right now is you will be using it extensively. Basically, what I'm saying is when your first month in Python, every function that you put up, you should just put the shift tab, open the docstring and read about it and then write it. The first 1 month. And if you do this for 1 month, I can't tell you where you'll reach in terms of your understanding of Python. In fact, you'll never feel that, you need bigger courses and deeper courses, because you know that at any point, if this kind of foundation that I'm giving you, if you have this, and then if you have all of these tools that I've just given you, these shortcuts to quickly understand and get any information about what you're trying to do, and if you have the right attitude, I don't think you ever need some Python classes specifically. then that's the whole objective of this program basically. So look at this now. This signature part is basically how you write a function. So within a function, what it is telling is that there are three kinds of arguments that can be put within a range function. The first argument is, it says self. The second the second argument here is, so basically start, stop, and step. Those are the three major things that you need to put, right? It returns an object that produces a sequence of integers from start to stop by step. So basically, let me tell you what I understood after reading this. Also check this. Everything is given here, basically everything. Now what I'll try to do is I'll try to experiment with this right in front of you, and you tell me if it was possible to figure out. All right. Sorry, I'll have to print this. Let's experiment with this. Let's play around with this, guys. What? And you also play with this at your end. Basically, what we are doing is, rather than going in a training mode, we are going more in an experimental mode where I'm saying that, okay, let's assume that you have no one with you. Will you be able to explore this? And I'm trying to teach you that component, that how you can find stuff out on your own, right? Okay. Okay. So what I did was I gave that range 0 to 4, and there it was, right? This range function, it's I'm just trying to see if I can print it, right? But this range is, I'm not able to print at this moment. Why? Why am I not getting able to print this here, guys? See, when I put range 3, it gives me the range 0 to 3. So what's happening? What I'm trying to do here, I tried to put that range statement out, but what I'm realizing is that it is telling me that it will give me a range of those numbers, but it is not going to print those numbers directly, right? So I go back to my docstring, shift tab, press shift tab. The same thing, you can also see the docstring for a print statement, as simple as a print statement, right? And why it is not able to print the numbers directly? Because what it is saying is range returns an object that produces a sequence of integers from start to stop by step, right? So that object is what basically, that object is what is going to create the numbers, right? Right? So now when you put this, basically when you put range 5 here in a for loop, there is that object which will help you iterate, right? So in the range, when you put I in range 5, here this object, range 5 produces an object that will help you to iterate from 0 till 5 minus 1, basically 0 till 4, it will help you iterate into this range. The same thing is going to be for double statements as well. So when you put like two statements, it means start at 2, stop at 5. When you put only single argument, it means everything before 5. And if you put it like this, range 172, what this means? Sai. What does that mean? Vagish and Sai. The last statement that I'm trying to show you in the range. Quick. What it is telling is that start at 1, stop at 7 and use a step of 2.